Hi, this is Alcan. Welcome back to my channel. Well, guess what? Despite the fact that the MTA got the congested pricing, I just got this from uh, one of I one of the folks that follow on X. It turns out, let's see if I can find it again. Oh my gosh. But it turns out that the MTA is still looking for more money to plug a $33 billion uh deficit. Yes, so even with the $9 congestion pricing, they're still not out of the woods. They're not happy. They're not satisfied. Um, yeah, it was enforced in New York City. The one that alerted me to this Post article, and it says even after New York City congestion pricing told MTA eyes new taxes and fees to plug $33 billion budget hole that would probably send Sean for the actual Justice Warriors up the ceiling and leave a big hole in there because he's already pissed off with the congestion pricing. Well, let's get into this article, see what the heck is going on here. And if you had seen Sean, the actual Warriors video about congestion pricing, I suggest you watch it because he's laying it thick and 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 he's not leaving no prisoners behind. Absolutely no prisoner behind. Absolutely no prisoner behind. Yeah. And yeah, I'm that excited. Okay, it says MTA new taxes, fees to plug $33 billion budget hole even after New York City's $9 congested toll by Vogue Golden and Anti Bowl. I'm sorry, I can't pronounce these names for anything. Anyway, Governor Kathy Hochul, yes, our favorite New York governor, and I say with quotation marks, and lawmakers are expected to weigh in more taxes and fees to fill a massive $33 billion hole in the NTA's budget, or the Metropolitan Transportation Authority, or sometimes we call them More Trouble Ahead Agency. Budget even after hitting drivers with the controversial new Manhattan congestion toll. Hochul is rolling out affordable proposals ahead of her State of the State address next week and declared on Monday that the state won't pass a budget that we could not afford, pledging she will make it sure we don't have to raise taxes. But the cash strip MTA needs a massive infuse of cash to float its huge 5-year capital plan totaling $68 billion, which even the governor budget director admits fees and taxes will likely be part of the solution. No, the solution is to get rid of the MTA or reform the MTA and get rid of the knuckleheads running these agencies. It says, I think taxes generally would be part of the discussion, Hochul Budget Director Chief Blake Washington told reporters in November. Yes, this person will lie and say they didn't cut down the cherry tree. Hochul fully endorsed the capital plan last fall and signed off on it despite questions about the unaccountable for $33 billion needed to fund it. Hochul promised not to raise income taxes in 2025. Well, she's about to break that promise. Though that it didn't include other taxes and fees like a payroll mobility tax she put forward last year when she put congested pricing on pause. Hochul on Monday passed the buck and said it will be up to the legislature to propose the new taxes. It is in the court, Hochul said. They said they were going to find the funding sources and I'll continue to work with them. On Christmas Eve last month, Assembly Speaker Carl Hersty and Senate Majority Leader Andrea Stewart Cousin, formally objected to letting the capital plan take effect on January 1st, officially allowing them to negotiate over its override size and content during state budget talks. In a joint letter, the leaders said they object to the unfunded $33 billion of the plan. The entirety of our point was that this plan would settle the state with $33 billion deficit with no acting funding, said State Communicating Director Mike Murphy told the Post in a statement. I think the governor understands that the ball is in everybody's court to address the vital transportation needs of the NTA network, which was critical to the state and the region's economic well-being. So why are you doing the congestion pricing? A spokesperson for Hochul declined to say if the governor would ever publicly publish a plan to how to fill the revenue hole with her executive budget, meaning that New Yorkers could end up totally in the dark as negotiators haggle over which taxes and fees to slam them with once the budget is eventually ran through as it's always been in the past. Last year, powerful Senate Finance Committee Chair Liz Krueger told the Post that she expects the plan to require new forms of revenue and the governor should make it public. Of course, she should come out with a public-facing plan, Krueger said, told the Post at the time. It should be public-facing, she added. Hochul expected to release her budget proposal in 2 weeks. The proposal will include an increase for the New York child tax credit, Hochul announced Monday at the Vanderbilt YMCA Midtown East. The tax credit would increase to $1,000 per child under the age of 4 and $500 per child aged 4 to 16 and $300 from $300 for child now. The full credit will be available to households making $110,000 a year with a phase-out amount for those making more. The governor did not put a price tag on how much raising the tax credit will cost. Hochul will also plan to propose sending $500 checks to families making below $300,000 a year and what she called inflation refund. The move is expected to cost the state $3 billion. Well, you could start by canceling that $500 refund and find another way to come up with the $33 billion. No. See, they got their way with the congestion pricing, and now they got to raise more taxes and fees. This is an ongoing scam. This goes on with this agency, the MTA, since 1968, since they became an agency. And the first thing they did was take over the Triborough Bridge and Tunnel Authority from Robert Moses, and then they took the money from the tolls on the bridges and tunnels to use for mass transit. So the first two agencies under the control, besides the TVA, is New York City Transit Authority and Long Island Railroad. But the thing was, Long Island Railroad got more money from the tolls than New York City Transit Authority did. And it didn't help later on when they added Staten Island Railway and then Metro North. I'm not sure if it's Staten Island Railway is getting more money than New York City Transit, but we know Metro North is also. It's an unequal balance and has never been straightened out. So of course now you got the taxes and everything. You got taxes from still paying for the Civil War being collected. But I mean, come on. And meanwhile, I mean, when the system was being built, I mean, it took less time to build the first segment of the IRT from 145th Street to City Hall in about 4 years, and yet it takes more than 10 years to build a segment of the Second Avenue subway. I mean, actually, technically speaking, it's more like over 100 years. Since 1920, they've been proposing the Second Avenue subway. Meanwhile, they got rid of the Second and Third Avenue L, and we hadn't seen the subway yet. In the late 60s, they started building a segment of the Second Avenue subway, with the 63rd Street line. But the 63rd Street line was completed, and the Second Avenue was still nowhere to be seen. In fact, the only two tracks of the Second Avenue subway was from 57 7 up to Lexington Avenue and 63rd, which is used for storage. And of course, later on, they finally started building the Second Avenue subway. Of course, the thing was, despite the huge structure for these stations, there's not a heavy ridership. Of course, they hadn't had a subway or elevated system in that area since it was torn down in World War II, the Second Avenue subway, and then, of course, the Third Avenue L was eliminated in 1955 without the Second Avenue subway being built. Bad decisions by these agencies over the years. And then, they just come up with more schemes and stuff. And sometimes the city or the state agency will borrow money from the MTA, which they shouldn't be doing. They did that with the MBTA for the Big Dig, and look at the disaster that's happening over in Boston. They just finally got rid of the last of the slow speed zones a few weeks ago. It is that bad. So shout out to Enforcement New York City, and of course shout out to Sean from the Actual Justice Warrior, because I know he's going to hit the ceiling when he sees that New York Post article. He's going to go in town with these folks. Absolutely. So this outcast saying so long for now. Don't forget your style, and remember that the MTA is a scam artist. I used to work for that scam artist, and I didn't get money that I should be getting. But the scam artists always do.